since I've live streamed, man. I'm very excited to be back on here. And basically, I just want to come on here and give my thoughts about what's been going on um, throughout the NBA. But what's going on in the game that I just watched, because the game that I just watched really frustrated me, right? Steve Nash, all right, guys. Steve Nash is an all-time great player. He is a guy that won 2 MVPs as a point guard, man. But Steve Nash is not an NBA coach, man. He's not a guy that should be a coach in the NBA. His rotations suck. His decision making sucks. Like, how do you not challenge that call? Kyrie Irving didn't even touch Klay Thompson. First of all, the refs are horrible. That shouldn't have been a foul in the first place. But Steve Nash had the chance to challenge that call, and he didn't do it. You know what I mean? Because that free throw basically ended the game. That extra free throw, that ended the game right there. The game was over. What's going on, Dennis Smith? What's going on, OCT? Yeah, the Lakers, man. You are down bad right now. You know what I mean? Y'all are y'all are down bad. What's going on, Edwin? You know what I mean? Hey, it's not like my Celtics are any better, OCT, so it is what it is. Um, y'all need to trade Westbrook. Uh, if I was you guys, I would trade Westbrook for John Wall. I would make that move. I think John Wall's a better fit with the Lakers. Um, Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 2 months, I think, and, you know what I mean? I'll try to do it more, obviously. I haven't really uploaded much. I've been noticing that, my channel's still been doing pretty good, you know what I mean? Um, so I'll try to upload more, definitely upload more short clips for y'all, man. I know you guys like that. Westbrook sucks. Obviously, I told you that when the trade happened. Man, AD soft and LeBron knee soreness. See, ticket makes kind of sense because you're telling me knee soreness is going to keep you out for 3 games. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Maybe they're doing it. I have a theory. Maybe they're doing it so Westbrook plays well and he can up his trade value. You know what I mean? But if I'm an NBA team, why would I trade for Russell Westbrook? You know what I mean? Unless I want to sell tickets, sell merchandise. You know what I mean? Why am I trading for Russell Westbrook? Um, Let me see. Ticket. Okay, of course we need to trade Dennis. Man, I don't know what we can get for Dennis Edwin. I don't think we can get that much. Maybe a second round pick. Maybe. You know what I mean? I'm not really holding like my expectations for Schroeder getting much for him or is not very high. You know what I mean? I think maybe like second round pick. Hopefully a late first, you know what I mean, from a good team. Maybe. That would be nice to get a first round pick, but I don't think so. West to the Knicks. The Knicks would be dumb enough to make that move. And by the way, they need to trade Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a 1 year fraud. He's soft, and guess what? Recently, I saw that he got fined for not talking to the media for like 10 days in a row or something like that, man. They need to move off Julius Randle, man. The Knicks are a mess. And Thibodeau, man, so let me get this straight too, right? You trade for Cam Reddish, right? You trade for him. You give up a first round pick to get Cam Reddish. And he's not even a part of the rotation. You know what I mean? Like Tom Thibodeau, bro. I tell you what, man. Thibodeau's rotations are horrible. You know what I mean? They are awful, and he's so stubborn. You know what I mean? That's the thing that drives me nuts about guys like Thibodeau. They're so stubborn with their rotations. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Yes, I told you all that last year. Randall was a fraud. You know what I mean? Guess what? When there was no fans, no pressure, you know what I mean? Of course, certain guys are gonna ball out when there's no fans hollering and booing and doing all this. Then when the fans come back, all of a suddenly Now we get to see who is really good. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Wiggins being a starter? I honestly, man, I don't even know, man. The fact that Devin Booker's not a starter in the All-Star game, that's an embarrassment. You know what I mean? The fact that Chris Paul or Devin Booker ain't starting is just absolutely embarrassing. You know what I mean, for the NBA. The Phoenix Suns, by the way, go look at this right here. You see that? I just got that the other day because I love Devin Booker. You know what I mean? It's not because of the Suns. I love Devin Booker. I love the way he plays. Um, Back to what I was saying, right? The fact that Devin Booker ain't a starter is just crazy to me. You know what I mean? The way he's been balling, I Edwin don't Edwin don't do that to me, bro. I'm a diehard Celtic fan, but what do you fucking mean I can't be a Tatum fan? What the fuck you talking about? I get like Booker and Tatum. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a rivalry, anyways. I mean, the Suns are what are they, 39-8? The Celtics, what were we? What were we? 26-25. I mean, I know you are gonna kill me, Brett, but I don't care. I like Devin Booker. You know what I mean, I like the way he plays. I got my Tatum jersey. Fuck you talking about that when I ain't betray no one. Hell no, I ain't betray no one. But Chris Paul or Devin Booker, the fact that neither of them guys are starting is crazy to me. I know it's position. That's why Wiggins is starting because you know what I mean, which is stupid to me. I think the five best players should just start regardless of position. You know what I mean? Like I think that's dumb. And I think the fan voting has ruined the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Back in the old days, man, back in the Michael Jordan era and all this, the All-Star game meant something. You know what I mean? Even back in the mid 2000s, the Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan era, the All-Star game meant something. You know what I mean? This All-Star game doesn't mean anything anymore. You know what I mean? The way social media and the fan voting, I think it's ruined it. You know what I mean? It's a joke. You know what I mean? Go look at who these dudes are voting for. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like the All-Star game doesn't even mean anything anymore, to be honest with you. It just doesn't. The All-Star game just doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, that's the truth. Who's coming out of the East? Man, I don't know, man. Brooklyn, I'm not sold on them. I think Brooklyn, they need to move off Kyrie. You know what I mean? I think because the way they're using Kyrie or the way that Kyrie is only playing road games, even though he balled out tonight, I don't think that's gonna work. You know what I mean? That's not a recipe for a success. Um, I think Milwaukee, I haven't liked what I've seen from Milwaukee this year. You know what I mean? They don't seem hungry to me. You know what I mean? They don't seem like a team that is hungry to win a championship. You know what I mean? They seem like a team to me that is content with winning one. You know what I mean? When I watch them play. You know what I mean? They don't look like they had the fire that I saw them have last year. You know what I mean? Because last year they had that fire. I don't see that this year in them. You know what I mean? The Heat are really good. Um, Kyle Lowry's health scares me. Um, and then you got obviously Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo just came back. Um, man, Stephen A's an idiot. I love John Morant, but nah, not yet. Giannis is still better than John Morant. You know what I mean? And I'm not even a big Giannis fan. In fact, I don't like Giannis at all. I think he's a dirty player, but nah, John Morant ain't better than Giannis. Hell no, not yet. Hero mode, yeah, I love Tyler Hero's impressed me, man. You know what I mean? Tyler Hero's doing a lot better than I thought he would do, for sure. Um, and that's facts, man. I thought Tyler Hero had a ceiling, and man, he's been playing really well. I like the Heat, man. I think the Heat can do it. You know what I mean? But Kyle Lowry's health is gonna have to get in order for me to fully jump on them. And in terms of the West, I think it's pretty clear who's gonna be in the Western Conference Finals. I think Golden State, Phoenix is a lock. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned for the Western Conference Finals. And I like Phoenix in that series. And here's why I like the Suns. Because the Suns, to me have the deeper team, and I just think it's a bad matchup for Golden State in the sense that Phoenix has so many guys that they can throw at Steph Curry, man. You know what I mean? Um, and I just believe that I think DeAndre Ayton's gonna tear them up in the paint. You know what I mean? And CP3 is the master at getting the bigs the ball, man. You know what I mean? And I believe Chris Paul is gonna feast in that series against Golden State. I really do. Um, so I like Phoenix. Hawks by 20 tomorrow. Man, OCT, the numbers go with Chris Paul. Um, Chris Paul's impact goes way beyond the stat sheet, to be honest with you. Edwin, the Hawks are on like a 6 game winning streak right now. Yeah, the Hawks, the Hawks were a feel good story last year. I kind of expected a drop off, you know what I mean? Because I just believe that everybody was hyping them up so much. I just think they wouldn't live up to expectations early. And you notice since they got rid of Cam Reddish, they've been playing a lot better. You know what I mean, by the way. It turns out that Cam Reddish might have been a locker room problem or a locker room cancer because since he's left the team, the Atlanta Hawks have been playing much, much better, to be honest with you. So that might have been addition by subtraction. Capella and too physical AD will be in street clothes. Hawks by 20. Uh, yeah, probably. You know what I mean? Uh, I think the Hawks win by 10 to 15 points. Uh, um, but I don't know what the Lakers do at the deadline. You know what I mean? They're stuck with LeBron. They're stuck with AD. I mean, they're going to ride it out with them two guys. Westbrook, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers are stuck with Westbrook, man. I really do. I don't see any team that's going to take him on. And to be honest with you guys, someone said that as soon as this contract's up for Russell Westbrook, it's the end of his career. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I really wouldn't if this is Russell Westbrook's last contract in the NBA, man. You know what I mean? Because honestly, what team is going to pick him up? You know what I mean? When his contract's over, what team is going to pick him up? I don't see it. You know what I mean? Maybe Oklahoma City. You know what I mean? Like for like one last season. You know what I mean? Maybe. Like who's gonna pick Westbrook up? Like I don't see it, man. I just I mean like sorry. OKC would? Yeah, probably. Um and then the Celtics, man, I like the way the Celtics been playing recently, man. Tatum and Brown are finally starting to click on offense. I mean, they're finally starting to show that they can play together, man. And I never quite bought into the narrative that they needed to trade Brown or Tatum. You know what I mean? I thought the narrative was too overblown, to be honest with you. And I think they need to get a point guard, right? A true point guard and probably another big man. Um, yeah, Al Horford, bro. We destroyed the Pelicans, right? And Al Horford didn't even play well. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, I like Schroeder, man. It's gonna be sucked to see him get traded, but I think it's for the best, and I believe Peyton Pritchard can take his minutes. You know what I mean? Because I like Peyton Pritchard. You know what I mean? He could shoot better, and I just believe he's a better fit with Brown and Tatum than Schroeder is. Signing Schroeder was a nice contract, and if we get a draft pick for him, I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean? It was never a long term signing. You know what I mean? To be honest with you guys, it was just the signing to see what would happen if the Celtics were really good this year. Fine. If they were like 500 like they are, then they would trade him for a pick. You know what I mean? With obviously the dream point guard is fuck. Give me Chris Paul. You know what I mean? But obviously the Suns ain't gonna trade Chris Paul. Maybe Ricky Rubio before he got injured. Malcolm Brogdon would be good, but he can't be traded this year because he just signed a new contract. So I don't know. I mean, I mean, I saw a rumor that the Celtics could have traded Marcus Smart for Kevin Herter and Cam Reddish, but that deal didn't happen. You know what I mean? We could have gotten them too for Marcus Smart, but I mean, you guys know how I feel about Marcus Smart, but I will say this, right? Marcus Smart has played well since he's came back, um, but I would still trade Marcus Smart. I mean, I would trade him. I would trade him if there's an upgrade. I mean, Rob wanted DeRozan, LeBron wanted Westbrook. See, that's why LeBron is a terrible GM, right? And by the way, how do we only have one like, bro? Let's hit that like button, man. Smash that like button, man. Rob wanted, yeah, that is true. I believe the Lakers coaching staff and the front office wanted DeMar DeRozan. Um, But LeBron, man, look, listen, man. I mean, it's laughable. It's absolutely laughable that Frank Vogel, even though Frank Vogel has been not that great this year, I don't think he's that good of a coach. But it's laughable that he's getting all the blame for the Lakers. I mean, downfall. The blame goes to LeBron James because LeBron James, at the end of the day, is the one that put this roster together. I mean, say what you want. Every single player on the Lakers roster, if LeBron James told the front office, "I don't want him," they wouldn't be on the roster. So obviously LeBron put together the roster. You know what I mean? And now has Frank Vogel's coaching been good? Not really. But what's Frank Vogel supposed to do when he's a defensive-minded coach and there's not really a lot of defensive players on the team? You know what I mean? What's he supposed to do at that point? You know what I mean? Frank Vogel is known as a defensive coach. And there's not guys on this team that are willing to play defense, especially Carmelo Anthony. I love Carmelo. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan, but every time you put him in a pick and roll, the other team's scoring at will. You know what I mean? Exactly, OCT. I mean, you can't build a roster like how the Lakers build it, man. You gotta have young guys in there. You got two-way players, man, and they just don't have any really. You know what I mean? They don't really. Now, Stanley Johnson, that was a good pickup. I like Stanley Johnson, based off what I've seen from him. He's a good player. He could play. Um, I mean, the rest of the roster, I think THT is horrible. I mean, Kent Bazemore's a bench warmer. Who else they got? Kendrick Nunn has even played a game for them this year. You know what I mean? All the Laker fans hyped up the Lakers signing Kendrick Nunn, and Kendrick Nunn hasn't even played a game this year. You know what I mean? So predictions for the Bulls in the playoffs, man, they're a second round exit. The Bulls are a nice regular season story. I mean, in fact, in the playoffs, this might sound crazy, but I like the Cavaliers in the playoffs over the Chicago Bulls. I think the Cavaliers are more built for the playoffs by the way they play. You know what I mean? I love the Cavs. I'm all in on this Cavs team. I mean, I'll talk about that later in the stream, but I'm all in on the Cavs. Should Dame request a trade? It's too late to request a trade this season. Probably in the off season, but we gotta see the moves that Portland makes. You know what I mean? If I'm Portland, I'm tanking the rest of the year. I'm trying to lose as many games as possible, and I want to get in that spot where I could draft in top five in the draft. You know what I mean? And in Navy, if a player like let's say you can trade Ben Simmons for a top five pick, right? That I think Damian Lillard would stay there, right? Lakers a nice place in the West. LeBron averaging 29 and 7. Um, yeah, it's bad. I mean, has LeBron's having a really good year. I mean, I can't sit here and say LeBron's been like not as good. LeBron's been having a great year. But LeBron, I'm blaming him because he's the one that put the roster together. You know what I mean? No one could tell me otherwise. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's a head coach or a GM in the NBA that would make the moves the Lakers made this offseason. When I was looking at the moves that the Lakers were making, I was like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? This roster makes absolutely no sense at all. You know what I mean? Like just a bunch of old guys, bunch of guys that are past their prime. And the worst sign of them all was DeAndre Jordan. You know what I mean? I have no idea why in the world any NBA team would sign DeAndre Jordan based off what we've seen over the past couple of years from him. He has been absolutely horrible for years now. You know what I mean? And yet the Lakers signed him. That signing made 0 sense then, and it makes even less sense now, you know what I mean? And the fact that you signed him when you have Anthony Davis, who you're supposedly gonna play at the 5 this year, and you have Dwight Howard, you know what I mean? What was the need to sign DeAndre Jordan over a nice 3 and D player? You know what I mean? Like, that move didn't make any sense. Um, and I mean, yeah, signing well, we've been knowing that about Russ, OCT. You know what I mean? We've been knowing that about Russ. We've known that about Russ for like 10 years now that he's not a good point guard. You know what I mean? He's a great talent, but the point guard skills ain't there. You know what I mean? That's why back in the day, I was having debates with people. People were saying, oh, well, Russell Westbrook is a top 2, top 3 point guard in the league. I was like, bro, he's not even better than Chris Paul. You know what I mean? And they were like, what? Russell Westbrook is way better than Chris Paul. I was like, no. If you watch the games, Chris Paul impacts the game way more than Russell Westbrook does. You know what I mean? And Chris Paul's a way smarter basketball player and he makes better decisions than Chris Paul. Well, Russell Westbrook averages 28 points and 10 and 12 rebounds and 10 assists. Like, yeah, that's cool, but Chris Paul's team any team Chris Paul is on, they win in the high 50s and they're always a top 3 seed in any conference, you know what I mean? And Russell Westbrook, you know what I mean, a lot of the teams have been on, they've underachieved. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like they should have beaten the Warriors that year. Um, exactly, OCT, exactly. I think Chris Paul is one of the most disrespected players in NBA history, man. Like the like all the disrespect Chris Paul gets is just laughable to me. You know what I mean? To be honest with you guys, because people all people care about are stats, man. And there's a bunch of stats nerds. You know what I mean? Oh, Chris Paul's only averaging 14 points and 10 assists. Well, that means he's an average player at best. No, watch the game. You watch the game, you're gonna be like, oh wow. You know what I mean? Chris Paul is making every player on the court better, man. You know what I mean? LeBron wanted CP3. The Lakers said no. Rob and Genie didn't want CP3. Well, that's on them. Plus, I'm not sure how LeBron and Chris Paul would have fit together. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure about that fit. Um, I think Chris Paul fits better with a player like Devin Booker. You know what I mean? Do I think Edwin, please? Really? Do I think the Lakers will level up in the playoffs? Man, they might not even make the playoffs. Edwin, I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs. To be honest with you, they might miss it altogether. Level up, yeah, level up to the eighth seed just to get four zipped by the Suns or the Warriors in the first round with ease. Um, well, the Lakers. Here's what I think is going to happen with the Lakers. They're going to fire Frank Vogel at the end of the season. And I think Rob Pelinka might get fired too, because there's gonna have to be guys that take the fall for this. You know what I mean? You always have the guy that gets fired. You know what I mean? Like Steve Nash will get fired, or he'll be forced to resign when the Brooklyn Nets disappoint in the playoffs. Um, you know what I mean? So Frank Vogel, he'll be the fall guy. Rob Pelinka might get fired. He might not. You know what I mean? I think that one's up in the air. And they're probably gonna hire that Fizdale man. You know what I mean? They're probably gonna hire that Fizdale as coach. You know what I mean? I don't think Fizdale is a upgrade from Vogel at all. You know what I mean? In fact, that might be a downgrade. But based on how the Lakers are running their franchise, man, it seems like they do whatever LeBron says to do. You know what I mean? And LeBron's gonna pick the coach. You know what I mean? So expect Frank Vogel to get fired and expect them to hire David Fizdale as the head coach because that's what I'm expecting. You know what I mean? I fully expect that to happen. Point blank, period. Stop it, Fizdale. Yeah, I know Fizdale's terrible, but LeBron runs that franchise. You know what I mean? LeBron literally like he runs that franchise, man. I'm telling you guys what's gonna happen. They're gonna hire whoever LeBron wants. I mean, they already traded for Westbrook and the whole entire and the whole entire franchise wanted DeRozan, but LeBron stepped in and said, "No, get Westbrook," and they got Westbrook. Um, Braun might as well, bro. If I'm the Cavs, man, I'm not sure if I because LeBron might want to trade all them young guys, man. You know what I mean? I like the way that team is playing, man. You know what I mean? I really do. I think it, this. I don't want to say anything crazy about Evan Mobley yet, but the way he plays, man, he reminds me of a young Kevin Garnett. You know what I mean? A young Tim Duncan, man. This guy is so polished already as a power forward, man, in the center. I think Evan Mobley could be a top five player in the NBA one day. You know what I mean? Based off how he's played this season. Like I don't want to go overboard. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the potential is there with Evan Mobley. And then Jared Allen, man, I can't say enough about how good this guy is, man. You know what I mean? Watching him play in person, because I went to a Cavs game a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Jared Allen is the dude is a beast in the paint, man. Absolute beast. Block shots. You know what I mean? Anytime you throw it up to him, it's an alley-oop dunk. You know what I mean? He shot Jared Allen, man. I can't say enough how good that guy is. And then Darius Garland. You know what I mean? Garland's a point guard, man. Back in 2018, when that draft was going on, I was saying I was praying that Celtics would trade up and get that Darius Garland. You know what I mean? I was like, we need Garland, man. We should trade up and acquire Darius Garland. And the Celtics didn't do it because we already know how Danny Ainge is. You know what I mean? So hesitant to make any move. So it didn't happen. Lakers better not rehire D'Antoni. Um, can you imagine if they rehired D'Antoni? Hey, LeBron will average like 34 points a game, but they'll give up. The Lakers will score 130 points, but they'll give up 150 if they hire D'Antoni. They'll score 130, 135, but they'll give up 150, 155 on defense. Because they ain't gonna play no defense. That would be hilarious if they hired D'Antoni. Who, bro? I'm not a bandwagon, bro. Man, stop it. Man, just stop, bro. I ain't no bandwagon. Yeah, but the Celtics. See, the Celtics are the most confusing team in the NBA, bro. I mean, there's a lot of confusing teams. That's why I can't really judge a lot of these teams today, man. I mean, that's why you haven't seen me make a lot of videos about these teams because it's like, I mean, just it's so confusing. I think with that face, man. I don't know. Let's see. What else is there to talk about, man? Celtics got a tank. I don't know, man. Brown and Tatum been playing really well recently. You know what I mean? Brown and Tatum been balling. I think they've been balling. Um, we're gonna be a first round exit. I know we're gonna be a first round exit, but holy fuck, I'd like to see Brown and Tatum ball like this, man. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know, Nate, man. I think John Collins. I think that's a player the Celtics should go after. I mean, I heard the price is pretty cheap to acquire him. Like it would only be like a rotation player and a first round pick. If we can pull that off, then I think we're just talking. You know what I mean? We can get a guy like John Collins, you know what I mean? Or shit, Julius Randle, you know what I mean, even. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, well, you hate Randle." Well, yeah, I hate Randle as the first option, but how about Randle as the third option on a team? And I think we're in business right there. I mean, if we can acquire Randle. But I don't know, man. I like John Collins. I think that'd be a great fit with the team. Um, Smart Naismith for something. But what value does Naismith have? You know what I mean? Because I told you, Edwin, before the season started, I thought Naismith was going to be a guy that could be an all-star one day. This year, I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? For some reason, he's regressed. You know what I mean? When I've seen him on the court. So I'm not sure if a team will be that interested in him. And then Marcus Smart, you know what I mean? I'm not sure. We're not trading Rob. I'm adamant about that. We cannot trade Robert Williams. We absolutely just cannot trade him, bro. He's too good, too valuable, man. You know what I mean? Bottom line. 80 Russ for Jalen Jason. Um, Man, the best I can do. Hey, I'm gonna do a Pawn Stars. Mean the best I can do is give you maybe Marcus Smart and a second round pick for Anthony Davis. Take it or leave it. OCT. Marcus Smart and a second round pick. I say we get a point. I'd say if we can get a point guard, we should. Hell yeah, we need a point guard badly. You know what I mean? That's pretty evident, pretty clear. And yeah, I would love to acquire a good point guard, man. But who's available though, man? I don't even know who's available at the point guard spot. You know what I mean? Like I haven't heard anybody. The two Kobe's ain't working on the Celtics. Trade him to the Lakers. Then they will work. No. They're working just fine, bro. I mean, they're gonna get it together. They've been playing the both of them have been playing really well recently. They just beat the Sacramento Kings by 50 the other day. I mean, I think they beat them by 52 points, and then tonight against the Pelicans, both of them played really well. So Brown and Tatum are starting to figure it out how to play together. I think we're starting to see a flip in the script, you know what I mean, based off what we've seen over the past couple of years. I think they're starting to figure it out. And no, we're not trading Brown and Tatum. Fred VanVleet, would I want him? I mean, yeah, VanVleet's a good player, but the question I have is he a pure point guard? I mean, I know he could shoot the three. I mean, I know that about VanVleet. He could shoot it, and he's actually having a really good season. But is he a guy that Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum need? You know what I mean? Be honest, but that's what I'm trying to say. Is he that type of point guard that could be a facilitator? Not sure. Fox, I would love De'Aaron Fox. I think Fox would be a great fit with the Celtics. Um, it's gonna cost the Kings ransom to get him though, for sure. It's gonna cost a lot to acquire a guy like that. Van Vliet averaged 21 and 7. Well, then we're talking. Then you know what I mean. If he could put up them numbers, I would take him. You know what I mean. But the Raptors would probably want a lot. They would probably want. But that's the problem too, man. You know what I mean, like with the Celtics, like what trade assets are there outside of Brown and Tatum and Rob Will? You know what I mean. There's not a lot of trade assets out there, man. You know what I mean? Who wants Naismith? Who wants Grant Williams? Who wants those guys? You know what I mean? Like that's why that offseason was so tragic, man. You know what I mean? That year they signed Kemba, man. That set us back like 3 years, to be honest with you guys. It wasted 2 years signing Kemba. The Kemba Walker tragedy, because that's what it was. It was a tragedy signing him and then him getting hurt. Um, Drafting Romeo Langford, a complete bust. Drafting Grant Williams, he's shown some signs of improvement this year, but still not good enough. And then drafting Aaron Naismith, man, like those are wasted draft picks. You know what I mean? That could have been used to either draft better players or potentially trade them for rotation pieces that can help this team right now. You know what I mean? So they wasted because I'm sorry, man. I like Kempa. Kempa's a good person. You know what I mean? But that signing right there alone set us back 3 years. I'm sorry. It wasted 2 years because Kempa played like absolute hot trash in the playoffs in the bubble year, and next year he barely played. You know what I mean? And we paid that dude what 35 million, and then we had to eat, and then we had to trade for Al Horford's contract. You know what I mean? Just to get him off the books. So that was a disaster. I don't care what it is, so OCT, bro. That shit was a disaster. You know what I mean? And even I sat back down, like, why we sign a 5'8" point guard, bro? Why we sign him to a 4-year deal? For what? With knee problems. For what? You know what I mean? That sign make no sense then. It does make it doesn't make any sense now. And he stinks with the Knicks too. Knicks fans want him gone. You know what I mean? And Kemp, I think he's only making like 7 million, 8 million with them, bro. Like I like Kempa. I mean, like I said, he was great with Charlotte, but that was not a good signing. You know what I mean? Oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's the truth though. Al Horford, no, OCD, hell no, OCD. Al Horford's a shell of himself. If you watch Celtic games, Al Horford, he's not good anymore. You know what I mean? He I see it's tough too because I like Horford too. You know what I mean? Horford's a good person, he's a good leader, but Horford ain't good. He ain't that guy either. You know what I mean? Like we're forced to take Al Horford on. You know what I mean? To get off Kemba Walker's contract, get off it. We were forced to take Horford on. So I don't really want Horford either. You know what I mean? And he was good to start the season. He was actually playing really well, but like over the past like 20, 25 games, he's been horrible. You know what I mean? They need to move off him. Man, I see I don't know why I sat out live stream so long. I like this. I don't know why. Man, this is good. I like live streaming. Um, man. Hey, Edwin, I'm gonna ask you a question, right? What can we get for Al Horford at this point? I mean, like, what can we even get for Al Horford? I don't think we can get much for him. I mean, that's why Celtic fans need to calm down about their expectations about trades and shit. Because like, who's bringing back good pieces on this roster? You tell me. Someone explain to me what pieces are bringing back good players. Because I don't see it. I mean, Romeo Langford looks like a bust. Aaron Naismith doesn't look good. I mean, Peyton Pritchard's pretty good. I mean, Grant Williams is all right, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. Hor yeah, Horford 10 and 7, but what's he getting paid? He's getting paid like $28 million a year. You know what I mean? That ain't good enough for a guy making $28 million a year. If he was making like 10 or 11 million, maybe, I mean, it'd be all right. But you know what I mean? And man, Udoka, man. Um, I tried giving this guy a chance too, and man, Udoka is a horrible coach. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like Brad Stevens. Yeah, I thought Brad Stevens was very overrated as a head coach. But in Udoka, I'll take Brad Stevens back in a heartbeat over keeping this guy as head coach. His rotations are some of the worst I've ever seen a head coach um put out there, man. I mean, Udoka doesn't know what he looks like a guy that don't know what he's doing half the time. You know what I mean? He looks like he's in over his head. You know what I mean? As a coach, man. And I know he's just a rookie coach. You know what I mean? Sometimes rookies go through that, but if shit don't improve next year, man, expect him to be gone because I think they'll give him one more year. But Udoka, man, I mean, and man, Udoka played for the Lakers in '04, and he should have learned. What was Phil Jackson there, man? He should have learned something about Phil, man. You know what I mean? Or Kobe or something. He should have learned something because I don't see it. You know what I mean? With man Udoka. You know what I mean? Like I don't see him as a good coach. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I wasn't that big of a Brad Stevens fan, but and man Udoka ain't it either. You know what I mean? So the Celtics overall, I like the Josh Richardson move. You know what I mean? Josh Richardson's good. I like him. Um, everybody else, I mean, and the biggest mistake they made was keeping Jabari Parker over Garrison Matthews. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys have heard Garrison Matthews, but go look up his stats with Houston. He's balling, right? And the Celtics had him on the roster during training camp and preseason, right? And they had a choice. They could have either kept Garrison Matthews or kept Jabari Parker, and they ended up keeping Jabari Parker, man. Um, It was just a horrible move. I mean, Garrison Matthews' three-point shooting could have been great on this team, and for some reason they kept Jabari Parker. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So, Phil virtually coaching the Lakers, that'd be funny. I mean, maybe he can coach them from the booth. I mean, maybe wear like a headset, kind of like I see NFL teams do. You know what I mean? Speaking of that today, you guys know that Tom Brady retired today, and then Tom Brady didn't retire? That was the wildest shit I ever seen in my life, right? So, Tom Brady retired, and then like an hour later, reports came out saying he didn't retire. I was like, man. So I was like, man, this is why you don't believe the media, right? This is like the perfect example why the media is full of shit. You know what I mean? You come out with these reports saying that Tom Brady retired, and an hour later, you say that Tom Brady didn't retire. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't even want to get into it, man. It just drives me crazy with how badly the media is. I mean, that, wow. Oh, yeah. OCT, I remember that you're a Tennessee Titans fan, right? I'm a Steeler fan, so I hate the Bungles more than anybody. I hate the Bengals. How'd you lose, OCT? Like, I just want to get off my chest. How'd you lose that game? How in the fuck did your team lose that game? You literally sacked him 9 times. You sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. You know what I mean? I still can't believe y'all lost that game. That's crazy to me. I've never seen that before. A guy gets sacked as many times as Joe Burrow got sacked. Dudes weren't wasn't the feelings over Brady, man. Listen, man. I love Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, but it's time for them guys to go, man. Big Ben, as a Steeler fan, had a great run, but I mean his time was over like 2 years ago. And then Tom Brady, um, I mean Brady's had a great career, but I didn't like what's going on today. I mean with him putting out reports saying he retired and then coming out saying he hasn't decided he's going to or not. Like I don't like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's just that was nonsense. Yeah, but the question I have for you, OCT, about the Titans is how do you sack a quarterback 9 times and lose? Because Ryan Tannehill ain't it. He ain't it. I mean, Tennessee needs a quarterback. Um, Point blank, period, man. The Tennessee Titans need a quarterback, and Ryan Tannehill ain't it. You know what I mean? He's a good quarterback, but he cost you guys that game. And I think Mike Vrabel is a good coach, but I didn't like his decisions in that game. You know what I mean? Going for two, you know what I mean, was stupid. And him going for instead of kicking the field goal was stupid. He left, what was that, 5 points on the board. You know what I mean? If he would have just kicked and took the points, you guys would have won that game. You know what I mean? Instead, he wanted to be aggressive, and being aggressive backfired. I mean, I'm just trying to remember that game. You know what I mean? So Titans might as well trade for Rodgers. Man, I think Rodgers going to Denver, man. You know what I mean? Denver just hired Aaron Rodgers, offensive coach. You know what I mean? As their new head coach. So I think it's lined up. I think it's all set up for Rodgers to go to Denver. I think that's the play. Um, Tannehill sucks. Vrabel and Belichick. I like Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a top 5 coach in the NFL, but I didn't like his coaching against Cincy. I thought he was too aggressive, man. In the playoffs, you got to take the points. You know what I mean? It just comes to a point in time where points are so valuable and so hard to get that you just have to take them. You know what I mean? You just can't leave points on the board. You got to take them. Bottom line, if you would have took the points, they would have won that game. Bottom line, and that's what it is, man. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. NBA related trade deadlines coming up. Ben Simmons, see, right? This is the last thing I'm going to say of Philly, right? Um, Daryl Morey is the biggest idiot I've ever seen run a basketball team, right? Um, Daryl Morey is a joke. Doc Rivers is a joke for what they're doing with this situation, and Ben Simmons is a joke too. I mean, the whole situation is a complete joke. Daryl Morey wants a king's ransom for Ben Simmons, right? A guy that completely sucked in the playoffs, a guy that passed on a dunk in Game 7, a guy that played scared. And Daryl Morey wants a king's ransom for a player that is not mentally strong enough to play in front of a crowd in Philadelphia. A guy that, you know, just doesn't want to be there anymore. And the whole NBA knows he's never going to play a game for them ever again. And this dude, Daryl Morey, wants he wants a king's ransom. Like, what? You know what I mean? You think you're getting a king's ransom for Ben Simmons? Like, man, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Like, they've had so many good trade offers offered by teams, right? For like in the Ben Simmons situation. They had so many teams that gave them good offers and they turned them all down. You know what I mean? And I've seen something, right? I've seen that they're trying to get James Harden. If James Harden makes that move, bro, I'm gonna destroy James Harden if he makes that move, bro. Because James Harden literally begged to go to Brooklyn, right? He was telling Houston and he was begging, he was putting out leaks through the media. He was like, please trade me to Brooklyn. I want to go to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I want to play with Durant and Kyrie. Blah 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 blah. He calls all that ruckus, all that noise, just to leave him and go to Philly. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, no. Like, did the GOAT retire today? I guess not. You know what I mean? That's why the media is full of shit. You know what I mean? And that's why Harden to the Hawks. I could see that actually. I mean, because we all know what Harden likes. You know what I mean? We already know what he's about, and there's plenty of it in Atlanta. That's all I'll say. Um, and yeah, the GOAT. I believe Brady is going to retire. I just think what happened was that the media leaked it too early, and I think Brady wants to say it on his own. You know what I mean? I believe Brady's gone, and I believe he's going to retire, but I think he wanted to keep it to himself. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think he wanted to reveal it, and and Adam Schefter, who's a fraud himself, didn't give him a chance to you know break the news. So that's what I think happened. He's going for little baby. Eh, his boyfriend. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly because we don't know for sure, but I don't know, man. That's all I'll say. I mean, allegedly. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Let me know what you guys think about this, man. Smash the like button, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell, man. I'll try to do this more, man. It was fun coming on here, going on live, talking to you all, man. And yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna keep working, keep grinding. We're clearly booming from where the last channel was, man. We've already skyrocketed past what the last channel was. Just gonna keep on pushing, man. And yeah, man. What you guys think about this, man? All right, buddy. Peace.